Bring in Tim Couch. Tim, always great to have you on the program.
Tim's not meatloaf.
Tim, we're doing the confidence meter, and I know we're 2 weeks out of the game. We're going to talk about this a lot. But we went around the horn on where are you in confidence. 10, going into the Carolina game. 10 is they're going to go in there and hand Baker their lunch. 1 is we're coming back with an L. The range was 8?
7
to 7, 3,
3, 4,
and I had them at a 6. But my arrow's going down. Where's your confidence meter going into this game?
I'm probably about a 5 or a 6.
Oh my God!
Right around in there.
Come on, baby.
Yeah.
Brad's taking heat over here.
Come on, baby.
Yeah, I just worry about the Browns receiving core a little bit. You know, we see a lot of drops in these preseason games. I know Amari Cooper's not out there, but we see Schwartz, who are dependent on to play a major role in this offense, dropping balls consistently throughout the preseason. If you can't catch them in the preseason, how are you going to catch it when the intensity picks up several notches when the regular season starts? And then also, Baker's playing really well, man. You from what I'm reading about how his camp is going, what I'm seeing out of his preseason games, he looks healthy. He looks really good. So I don't feel great about it. But obviously, we haven't seen the Browns out there at full strength with their offensive, Pro Bowlers and the whole team out there. So we'll see how it goes week 1. But I don't feel great about it going in as we look at it right now.
Tim, Belichick said yesterday, actually, preseason, you can't read anything out of preseason. I've been screaming and yelling about this for years when I see other media members analyze preseason as if, like, I can't do it. You mentioned Cooper hasn't played, Hunt hasn't played, Chubb hasn't played. Some of their starting offensive linemen, their 2 best corners and their 2 best pass rushers. I just can't read that much into preseason. What do you think? It seems like you feel like you've learned something, at least from the Panthers. Can you really take something from the preseason and translate it to what it might mean in the regular season?
I'm probably with you. There's not a whole lot you can take from a preseason game. It's just, like you said, you don't know who's out there. Are they playing with a full roster, or there's guys just kind of, piecing guys together, trying to get other guys some reps, some young guys trying to see what they look like with the ones. So you really can't take a whole lot from it. But I also know that you don't want to see a guy that you're dependent on to play a major role in your offense dropping easy catches in a preseason game. That is alarming to me. I think that does concern me. I think you want to see a little better performance. Not that guys need to go out and look perfect in the preseason, but you do want to see them make those easy routine catches. And if not, you're kind of like, hey, how's this going to look? When the regular season starts. So you just never know.
Hey Tim, I see UK keep you in your gear again. I see you got new fresh UK gear. But we'll keep it moving.
Hey, season starts on Saturday, man.
They're ranked aren't they ranked in the top 25? I think they're ranked, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. They've got a great team coming back. A couple really good pieces. They've got a quarterback who a lot of people are projecting to possibly be a top 10 pick next year. A guy named Will Levis. He's a transfer from Penn State. Won 10 games here last year. Won a bowl game. Beat Iowa in the bowl game. So he's a heck of a football player. We got some really good young guys coming back. So should be an interesting season for us.
All right.
Tim, do you approve of Will Levis putting mayonnaise in his coffee though? From
What?
UK quarterback
Not at
to
all,
UK
man.
quarterback.
Not at all. Yeah,
All right,
not at all.
so
We played golf together the other day, and I had to mention that. I'm like, man, what in the hell are you putting mayonnaise in coffee for?
What was his answer?
Disgusting.
He says it's good. He says, kind of don't knock it till you try it kind of thing. But I'm not going down that road, man. There's no mayonnaise. I don't like mayonnaise very much on anything, much less on coffee. So
Tim, let me ask you this: as we get back to football here, to me, it seems like the Browns are at least one wide receiver short here, and then the D line is a problem. I don't see the interiors inside the D line looking like it's ready to go at all here. What do you see?
Yeah, I would agree with all that. There's always, there's a few pieces that you look at right now that's a little bit concerning. Obviously, they have such a talented roster, and there's talent all over the field, and Pro Bowlers, and guys ranked within the top 100 in the league on this team. So there's a talented group of guys, but there are some areas for concern. But I think you could probably look at every roster in the NFL and say, well, nobody's strong at every position. You feel a little bit of concern about certain things, but. I think for me, it's just the wide receiver core more than anything. I just don't understand where they're going to get the playmaking ability from in the passing game. And obviously, they're going to focus more on the running game with Chubb and Hunt, especially with Brissett in there early on for the first 11 games. But still, you're going to have to make plays in the passing game. The guys are going to have to step up. teams can really key on Cooper. They can take him away. They can double team him. They can roll coverage to him. So other guys are going to have to step up within this offense. So you have to have the tight ends step up. These wide receivers are going to step up, and you have to have some running backs catching the ball out of the backfield as well. So that's my biggest area of concern, and so certainly want to see how they're going to address that going into week 1.
Tim, Brissett got a lot of questions after the game about Anthony Schwartz, and obviously the guy's not going to crush his receiver in the media. But in your time, have you ever played with a guy who couldn't catch herpes from a hooker?
Oh, my God. What Cleveland guys are going crazy today.
What do you do in that instance as a quarterback when you see a guy open in the field? Do you pause before throwing it to him again? Do you hesitate? And is there anything I don't mean necessarily Schwartz can't. I'm just saying there's guys at quarterbacks that play with it, struggle to catch the ball. Is there anything you can do as a quarterback to rebuild confidence in a guy? And do you hesitate throwing it to him when he's open in the field the next time he's open?
Well, I think you definitely hesitate a little bit. I think, you don't want to lose confidence in a guy too quickly, but there's no question about it. You're thinking, if you see one-on-one coverage out there, you're thinking, I don't know if he wins this route, I don't know if he's going to catch it or not. So, but the only thing you can really do is get with him, after practice, before practice, and just catching extra balls and just, just making sure you're kind of building him up a little bit, that you haven't lost confidence in him, one of those kind of things. But, the more it happens, though, the easier it is to lose confidence. And, quarterbacks are going to go away from that guy. If you can't trust him, if you think the ball's not going to be caught, you're just going to go find someone else to throw the ball to. So it gets to be tough after a while. But really, there's not much you can do about it. If they're going to put him out on the field and he's where your read takes you, then you got to hope he's going to catch the ball. But if it's not happening, you lose confidence pretty quickly.
Well, let me tell you something, Tim. In necessary roughness, Scott Bakula finally threw the ball to Stonehands in the game against Texas, whatever the hell they were called, and he made the catch, Stonehands.
That's Hollywood.
And they came. That's what it is. Did you ever see that? Have you seen Necessary Roughness? Do you remember that movie?
Oh yeah, I've seen Necessary Roughness.
How was Scott Bakula as a quarterback? Did he translate well?
No.
Did he look like a real quarterback or no?
I'm with Jay. It's Hollywood, man. They made him look good when the time was right.
That's always the position in all of sports. Pitcher.
Sandler. What about Sandler?
Yeah, no, he didn't pull it off either. First of all, his pads were like a linebacker's
Burt
pads.
Reynolds?
I think the hardest sports position in movies to pull off is pitcher in baseball. Charlie Sheen was a joke. His mechanics were a nightmare.
It was terrible.
And quarterback in football, because, Tim, you can talk to this. The mechanics of throwing a ball properly, it's so hard to teach someone that in real life. And now they're trying to teach actors how to do that. It's not a good look.
No, it's not a good look. I've seen some pretty disastrous attempts at guys trying to teach actors how to throw a football in a few months' time. So it never looks good. If you didn't kind of grow up, throwing a football, it's really difficult to teach a guy. And you can tell right away whether this guy had any football in his background or not.
You know who looked like a real player? Tom Selleck in Mr. Baseball. Did you ever see that?
I did. He pulled it off. I thought Kevin Costner played in college.
Yes, for love of the game.
Kevin was pretty damn good.
Yeah. Although draft day sucked ass. I know it was about the Browns. That movie was
Eddie
horrible.
Harris in Major League was awful.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was terrible. Yeah,
I actually thought Sheen was okay.
I thought his
thought
mechanics
Sheen
were
was
a
bad, too.
mess. His mechanics were a mess.
Yeah. Anyway.
So Tim, back to football.
Yeah.
We were talking about chemistry and how you develop it with players, and there's two schools of thought here in the preseason. You leave your stars at home. And then there's the Mike Tomlin school. Tomlin yesterday against the Lions played his starters on both sides of the ball for the entire first half. And TJ Watt limped off with an ankle, and Deontay Johnson also got dinged a little bit. Neither injury is said to be serious. But is there something to be said for at least getting Cooper and Brissett some real and under fire as you can get in the preseason? All they're doing is working together in practice. That concerns me greatly. As a quarterback, are you concerned if when the real bullets start to fly, you see a guy in your huddle in a game that you haven't seen in a game yet?
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably old school when it comes to this. We used to play a whole half, in the third preseason game back in the day. All the starters did. So, you had some of those game type reps with everyone, and especially these guys are new to the system. Brissett and Cooper are both guys that haven't been here. This is their first year in the system. So I would love to see them out there in a preseason game and try to connect in a game type situation when the bullets are flying, and the speed of the game is picked up quite a bit from practice. Before you get out there week one, and like you said, Jay, you're out there in the huddle, and you don't know exactly how this guy's going to come out of a route, or if he's seeing the right side adjustments and hot routes and reading the blitzes and coverages the way you want him to. So I personally would love to see it in a preseason game just to get these guys acclimated a little bit. But it's just like you said, these coaches do it differently nowadays. Some coaches are old school and they like to see their starters, and some guys just say, I'm not taking that risk. I'm not putting my guys out there that I know I'm going to need once the regular season starts.
Tim, hundreds and hundreds of players are going to get cut. Many of them will lose their livelihood forever in the next 24 hours or so. What is it like for guys in this time as you wait for those cuts?
Oh, it's brutal. It's a brutal time, man. I experienced that when I went to Green Bay. When I left Cleveland was with the Packers. I had a shoulder injury and was getting ready to get surgery and everything like that. So I kind of knew that I wasn't going to make it because I'd played terribly in the preseason because I was injured. But it's gut wrenching, man, because it's your whole livelihood. Like you said, it's what you've worked your entire life for, and you're finally there. You're right on the doorstep, and you just you hope you've done everything you can possibly do to make the roster, done all the preparation you can do, put in all the work. But still, at the end of the day, it's still not enough sometimes. Even if you've done everything the right way, it comes down to a numbers game sometimes. Or whatever the situation may be. But, you're always thinking in the back of your mind, I'm not only trying to make this squad, I'm trying to make all the other squads as well, because whatever I put out on film is kind of my resume. And, if I don't catch on here, there's an opportunity for me to catch on somewhere else. But it's a gut-wrenching time, man. I know what these guys are going through right now, and we just wish everyone the best of luck.
Hey, Tim, the question for you. Check this out. When is it time for a team to break off of somebody they had high hopes for? You're a guy that you think is going to turn out to a player, but at some point you carry it on for a while, and then the team has to make a decision. Do I stay with what I
Schwartz?
think, or do I stay with, or do I move on? And Schwartz comes to mind.
Sure.
And then Greedy Williams comes to mind, because I see Greedy Williams, I'm like, okay, where's this dude that's supposed to be at LSU that was supposed to be nice? It don't look too nice here, right? How long do we stay with that and eat up valuable roster spots, and where I give somebody who I didn't think was going to make the team a chance to really maybe produce some things?
Yeah, I think that's a great point. I think it's all kind of individualized, about where you at in the roster at that position. Do you really need this guy? Can you give up on him? Do you feel good about who's behind him? All those kind of things, factor into it. But if you don't see it, after, a couple seasons, a whole entire off season and OTAs and training camps and preseason games, if you don't see it, man, it's probably not going to translate out there when the bullets are for real in week one and once the season gets started. So, you want to believe in guys, you want to give them every opportunity, but at the same time, if you're not seeing production, then you got to go in a different direction.
Tim, where do you fall on Josh Dobbs? And obviously he's had a terrific preseason. He's taken advantage of every opportunity he's had. But as Bull screams all the time, it's the preseason. He's going against twos. I look at a guy who's made 17 career throws and say, how can you trust him to be a backup quarterback? You just don't have enough proof. Where do you fall on him? He's one snap away. I've been screaming for Jimmy Garoppolo for weeks. I'm tired of screaming about it. But do they need a veteran of some sort as a backup? Or are you comfortable? Have you seen enough out of Josh Dobbs this preseason to call him the number 2?
Well, it's hard not to like what you've seen out of Dobbs. You guys have a great point. He is going against 2s and 3s and guys just trying to make the team at times. So the competition level is not what it's going to be during a regular season game, but he has taken advantage of his opportunities and he looks every bit the part. To me, what I look for is how does he look within the system? Does he look comfortable, calling the plays, getting in and out of plays? Is his read sharp? Is he getting rid of the football quickly? Can he extend plays when it breaks down with his legs? Can he just make something out of it when nothing is there? And he's shown all those things to me so far. So, but like you said, he hasn't played much in the regular season. Only 17 career pass attempts. So you just never know what you're going to have once the competition level steps up there. But he does show, that he could be a valuable backup guy right now, especially, if they're not going to go in another direction, bringing in a veteran. I think that he is a guy that could, hold it down for a game or two or here or there. But I don't think he's a long-term answer. But I do feel confident in him going out and possibly winning a game or two here or there, just with his athletic ability, his ability to run and throw, and the comfort level that he looks like he has it within the offense right now.
Tim, if the 49ers do cut, Jason mentioned Garoppolo. If the 49ers do cut Garoppolo and the Browns were interested, and let's say they signed him, Wednesday, Thursday this week. Obviously, he can't play. Well, he could, in theory, play week 1, but he's coming off an injury and he hasn't been here. How long do you think it would take him to be ready to start for the Browns?
I think a guy like that could get ready pretty quickly. You could get him in the meeting room and just say, what do you feel comfortable with? How do these plays translate into what you've been doing in the past in New England and San Francisco? Does any of this look familiar to you? It's probably different terminology, but, a lot of these schemes and routes concepts are very similar. Wherever you go, they just call it something different. So they could get him up to speed pretty quickly, in my opinion. A guy who's had that many has had this much experience, all the game reps, winning football games, going deep in playoffs, taking a team to the Super Bowl. I think you can get a guy like that ready to go pretty quickly. I wouldn't know exactly what how many weeks that would be, but I think you could get him to where he's at least comfortable to go out there and call plays in a game and understand somewhat where he's trying to go with football.
Jay, for those that aren't familiar with the cap situation, because that would be a hurdle in bringing him in.
Not if he were cut.
If he were cut, no, not this year, right? How does that work? What would they be looking at from a number standpoint, the Browns, and how likely is it that they could do that?
They've got $50 million in space now. They're obviously trying to roll as much of that into next year as they can. They're projected right now to be $30 million over the cap next year, so every dollar counts. I don't know. Could you get him for $8 million? Would Jimmy Garoppolo sign here for $8 million?
I would think less though, because he's got some guaranteed money, right?
He has zero guaranteed.
Yeah.
0 out of the 24.
Oh, I didn't realize.
So
that
he's getting nothing when the Niners.
So Baker took a small haircut to go to Carolina, and that made the deal possible.
Right. But his contract was fully guaranteed. Baker's was.
Yes.
Jimmy has no guarantee.
Right.
No, we're saying if he gets cut.
Yeah, if he gets cut, that's my scenario.
Right, he's in no demand to be getting.
Well, the only demand would be if Seattle wants to bring him in. Right. So you could be bidding against a team like the Seahawks. I don't think Seahawks are going to war with Geno Smith. I don't think there's any way they do that.
I think they do, because I think they want their next guy. Tim, you can weigh in. I think Seattle's made it clear they want one of these college quarterbacks. So they're willing to take their lumps this year. They're going to tank.
Maybe then we would be bidding against ourselves for Jimmy G.
But how much does Jimmy really want to come here? And I don't know the answer to that. I've tried to find out the answer to that, and I can't tell you, because it's not a full season. And really, Tim, the way I look at it, I want Jimmy for weeks 5 through 11. When it's Justin Herbert, when it's Tom Brady, when it's Lamar Jackson, when it's Joe Burrow, the Browns are going to be outgunned at quarterback pretty much every game on the schedule, but some are worse than others. And if you just look at that stretch from 5 to 11, you were talking earlier, it wouldn't take him very long to get up to speed. I think it took him a month from the time the Niners traded for him until they actually put him on the field. So get him ready for October for me, and let him go up against that stretch that I was just talking about, beginning when the Chargers come into town. I mean, that's a huge difference in quarterback ability. I've said it before, Jimmy Garoppolo's worst season in quarterback rating is better than Jacoby Brissett's best season.
Yikes.
Yeah, I mean, I would totally agree with that. I would be on board completely with that situation where you bring him in now and groom him for those games, get him up to speed, and surely you can get Jimmy Garoppolo ready to go by that point in the season where he's able to go out and feel comfortable in the offense. And, I would feel much better going into those games, just like you said, against those quarterbacks he's going to be facing. At least with Jimmy G, you got a guy that is a proven winner in this league, that you feel like you have a fighting chance when you go face some of those teams during that part of the schedule.
Tim, 2 weeks now between the end of the preseason and the start of the regular season. It used to just be, regular season started 1 week after your final preseason game. How do you think that changes things for the players? Are they installing more of an offense at this point? What's going on in the next 2 weeks?
Well, I think the biggest thing is you get to get guys get guys healthy, guys that are dinged up a little bit throughout camp, and guys have suffered some injuries throughout the preseason. You get an extra week to get those guys healthy and get them back out on the field, get them feeling fresh, and then you get the guys get up to speed a little bit. You get more repetitions during practice. Obviously, with Brissett and some of these guys, you want to get as many reps as you possibly can going into that week 1. So I think they just use it as that. Get guys healthy, get some guys a little more experience within the systems, and hopefully everyone's firing on all cylinders come week 1.
You were small part of this cloud over the Browns organization that is 1-19-1 in season openers since the Browns came back in '99. Obviously, for you didn't have to worry about that, but you've been part of teams where you knew when you played Alabama what Kentucky's record was against Alabama for all those years. How much are players thinking about that when they take the field against Carolina? We've won one season opener in the last 22 years.
Yeah, it's hard to believe they've only won one season opener in the last 22 years. I didn't realize that it was that number. I knew it wasn't very many, but I didn't realize it was that. So, but I don't think a lot of these players really care, to be honest with you, Jay. I think their way of thinking is, hey, I wasn't part of that team, 10 years ago or 15 years ago or 5 years ago. This is a whole new team, a fresh start. So I think guys probably look at it more that way. And, as players, you just feel so confident every week that you're going to go out and win the game, no matter what the past says, what the history of the team says. So I wouldn't think guys play very much into that at all. I think it's just more of a, they're so focused on what they have to do to win a game. That's all they're really concerned about is going out and what do they have to do to go beat Carolina.
They are thinking about Baker, though, on the other sideline.
Oh, they're definitely going to think about Baker. Yeah, and I'm sure Baker's going to give them some material to think about him even more as the week goes on leading up to the game. So
that's
I can't wait for that one, man.
Oh,
all right.
Can't wait.
Hey,
Thanks,
Tim, when we see you next, we'll be in game week officially. So have a great week.
Can't wait,
we'll see you
guys.
next
It's gonna be
Monday.
awesome.
Yeah, that's
Thanks,
when
Tim.
it really
For sure.
gets
All
fun.
right. See you.